not allow our son to go through that at all. Kama mbaya, but he will not be taken through that. Hatutaruhusu. He will not be taken through that. Hakupewa kiti na mtu, alingangania. Na hicho kiti kura tulizozipiga ndizo zilimpa deputy president. And he is not a deputy president by default. Ni mpango wetu na yeye ndiye ameshikilia mlima. So it is not right for us to come here, Jane Kihara, tunajaribu kupaka mafuta when we know there is a problem that is being created. And we want to tell them from this position where we are standing, tukiwa na hawa wa Kristo na hawa watu wa mlima, it shall not be allowed. Let it be go, iandikwe kwa rekodi. Let it be, we will not at all, and there will be no compromise for any reason. Yeye amepata, this is 47% of our votes, of the votes that made government. Na ni lazima tukae wapi? Pale. Kudhihakiwa, ni mlima unadhihakiwa, kweli uongo? As many as of that opinion say aye. The ayes have it. Let it go down and let it be recorded that we do not want to walk that way again. We stood, we fought, we are together, and we pray. Wale ambao wanajaribu, because we know them, wale wanajaribu kuleta bad blood between the president and the deputy president, ambao wameandamana vizuri.
Process. Politics is not church. In any case, even church, there are issues, push and pull. When people are in a political process, what advances the political agenda is where people agree to disagree, or disagree to agree, or sometimes even agree to disagree. And the process of push and pull in political space is a very normal process. There's no one time you will have a political process that is clean.
So what is happening between...
I mean, if you look at...
For your governor to speak the way he's speaking, what's going on?
If you look at all the political formations in the country, as they are trying to settle down, one of them has formed government, is trying to settle in government, who takes what space and all that. And then you have another...
2 years later.
And I mean, government, you settle up to the 5th year. All the time you settle. And then when you look at the other formation, which is also in opposition, they're still settling also in opposition. Sometimes they don't know who is where, and they're also having push and pull.
But surely, for government, you should be certain about what is going on.
But the issue of fight for political space is a very normal process, and I personally don't see anything weird about people, trying to anchor themselves in whatever positions they are in. And if you looked at the pictures yesterday night when the president was leaving, you could see them, both of them with the deputy and the president together, and you can clearly see these are people who are working together. So the issue is
there a problem between the deputy president and the president, or how the deputy president has been handled?
Well, I mean, I got the information from the governor yesterday. I'm yet to find out exactly what it is that governor is talking about, because he has... Yeah?
You don't know? You don't know or you don't want to say?
I mean, do you know?
I'm asking you, I don't come from Nyeri.
Yeah.
I don't come from Kenya Kwanza.
So then when I say I'm waiting to, in fact, I'm going to call him. I tried getting him yesterday night, but I think he was busy, because I also want to understand what is it that, is it something that is alarming, that we need to come out and talk, or is it something that is a small or big issue? But the issue is that I expect people to have push and pull as political time elapses and as government continues to work. To me, really, that shouldn't be a big issue and should not be an issue of alarm. But all I can tell you is this: whatever the case, whatever it takes, Mount Kenya region is in government to stay. The government of William Samoei Ruto, we are there to stay. And we have the president is the leader of government in Kenya, William Samoei Ruto. And there's really no doubt about that. And all of us are totally loyal to him as a president of the Republic of Kenya. And the other issue is that his deputy is Ruto-Gachagua, who is also our leader in Mount Kenya region. And we, as Mount Kenya, there is just no way we are going to pull our people out of government. We made very many promises in Mount Kenya region, and we are in the government as of right.
All right.
And so for that reason, I can tell you with no shadow of doubt whatsoever, we are going to be in government for the 5 years. We are going to be in government for the next 5 years, all the way to 2032.
You don't know about that. You have
no,
to
of course, I'm
for an
talking
election.
about it. I'm talking about it.
Yeah,
we will be.
for an election.
No, Sam, we will be. I'm telling you, we will be. I have been with you here, Sam, for the last 8 years. This is my 9th year with you here, doing political analysis.
Let's talk about...
And you know the outcomes of the things I tell you on this set. So you can't doubt my words.
Yeah.
When I say we will be in government until 2032 in this Kenya Kwanza government, don't doubt me. I know what I'm talking about. And so don't be alarmed by...
Unfortunately, here we talk about facts.
By a storm in a teacup.
I hear you, Honorable.
Yeah.
Storm in a teacup, which you don't want to describe. Honorable Mbowe, what's going on? Because we've been here before. Is it too early?
You know, Sam, when listening to my colleague here, you can see the dictatorial tendencies of Kenya Kwanza. He wants to be the one to speak. He decides how long, what about. I mean, and he even he was questioning the team that was meeting in Limuru 3 and saying that, you know, they shouldn't meet there. The agenda should not be what they talked about. I don't know, they should have had, I don't know, town hall meetings. That dictatorial tendency seems to permeate through the whole of this Kenya Kwanza leadership. In fact, I'm surprised when he was saying that this team from Limuru should have approached their leaders. In the last finance bill, they approached their leaders and attempted to tell them to shoot down the finance bill. And what happened is that the people in the mountain, the farmers, ended up being told by KRA, all of you have to register for e-teams, and 5% of everything that you produce will have to be paid to government. And then the leaders, the same leaders who are you know, pushing for the finance bill, started telling the public that, you know, we didn't read this thing very well, including the deputy president, the one who's crying now. He even said, you know, it looks like we have not read this finance bill properly. Kagushi, I hope this time you read the finance bill properly to know that it is going to tax all those people with vehicles, including matatu owners who come from the mountain, a lot of them.
We will discuss the finance bill.
And the mama mboga who wants her child to have a loaf of bread before they go to school. You make sure you read it so that you don't come back and tell people.
When we discuss the finance bill, I'll probably educate you about it. I'll probably educate you about it.
Sorry,
No, this time we have read it. I have read it.
I think my colleague here is very bitter about the success of the Limuru 3. And I wasn't part of it, so don't turn it on me.
It succeeded.
Let me talk about
it succeeded.
Let me talk about what his governor was complaining about. You know, this problem started immediately after. I think for me, I saw it happen just immediately after the elections. When the deputy president started talking about shares, in fact, many people are thinking that he was telling those of us in Azimio. But incidentally, he was actually talking about UDA. He was talking about how the mountain has had almost 50% in the last election. So he was talking about maybe sharing of slots. That's what I think was the issue at the beginning. So when he started saying that, you know, you know, it depends on how many shares, based on the shares you get, that is then what you will be able to, what you reap after the election. I think that was where this thing started. But then in the recent past, you remember, the president has recently, in a function of women, he said that going forward, this party of UDA, or Kenya Kwanza, if it becomes a political party together, may need to consider the idea where if a candidate for either president or governor is male, then the running mate should be female. And after he issued those statements and the women cheered him wildly, he remembered his deputy is male. So he quickly said, maybe now after we discuss this with the DP. But then he had already let the cat out of the bag, that he's considering to look for an alternative running mate. And that came out. I mean, you know, from deep in his heart. So I think that's also one of the things that the DP has noticed, that he may not be the next, the running mate in the future. Not to forget, and I'll tell you this, there are a number of very young members of parliament that are walking around, you know, all over the country, and they seem to be making inroads all over, and they seem to be even popular more than the DP in parts of central Kenya. So I think for me, the DP has realized that he was picked and used.
But Honorable Mbui, how do you determine that they are more popular than DP Gachagua?
Oh,
people that you're not even naming.
Sam, one of the key pointers to popularity is when you look at the reception of the person when he meets the people. And I mean, it's clear. You go to a function and there are 10 speakers, and the one particular person will be called and people will stand up. Then you know that's the most popular one. Now, where people will cheer for DP when they are told by the master of ceremony, another member will stand up and everyone will be cheering, even if they are told not to cheer. So there are some indicators. You know, maybe the popularity may not lead to votes. I'm not talking about votes. I'm talking about the popularity, that the person is more likable. So there are people, the young people within the region that are seemingly more likable than...
that's a member of parliament who is known.
Of course, there are some serious members of parliament, like the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. He's a highly popular young man. When he goes out there, you can tell the mountain people do respect him a little bit more than the DP. After all, let me tell you, Sam, there are many things that were said in this meeting that seem to have, you know, I'm sure my colleague would not want us to go there. But the Honorable Wamushomba raised very serious fundamental flaws in the way this system is operating. And she talked about the number of people from the mountain that have been dismissed from public office by this regime. In the full glare of the DP and his sycophantic members who have never raised their voices against their people being kicked out of office and being replaced by others. And she talked about that very passionately, and I felt for them, because it is true. There's a lot of heads of parastatals, there's a lot of directors, there's a lot of people, senior government officers, that have actually left office and been replaced by people from other areas. So I think ideally, although that's a region issue, regional issue, I think they have a point that the region is being sidelined.
Okay.
And when it comes, and this is what will happen. And we are going to be here. A lot of my analysis is also going to be tested in a few years. When things become nasty in the mountain, the president will go there and he will say, you know, if you are complaining about taxes, the leader of majority was from this region. The finance minister or treasury CS was from this region. The minister in charge of this was from this region of trade. So he's going to find a way of
KRA was from this region.
KRA is also from. So when you are complaining that the taxes are high, businesses are closing, should you be asking me or asking your own people?
I hear Honorable Mbui. Let's listen to some leaders who think that Mount Kenya should actually not be complaining because they control nearly half of the government.
Mwache blackmail rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa sababu haifai namna hiyo. Nyinyi mkikutana mnaenda kulaumu rais. Endeni muitane mkutano na hao viongozi wote muwaeleze shida gani mnataka wawafanyie. You control the government, you control the country. You actually own half of this government. You have no reason to complain. You have no reason to bring unnecessary squabbles to the national government. Tafadhali tuheshimiane. Heshimu rais, uitisha hao viongozi maendeleo. Nyinyi ndio.
All right, that is Silvana Sosoro, who is the majority whip at the National Assembly. Honorable Ndishu, tell me, well, unfortunately, Kagushia says he's not aware of the details. Maybe he's not. But is there any reason why DP Gachagua should be concerned? Because when he stood to speak, he only said, I, as the deputy president, I'm a man of few words. And that was it.
Yes, let me respond to, you asked a very pertinent question to Honorable Kagushia, and he said he's going to call the governor of Nyeri to ask him, what are you complaining about? But everybody in this country know now what made the Honorable Gachagua, the deputy president, to stay away from Nairobi for a whole week. One, the president announced that all cabinet ministers or cabinet secretaries to go and plant trees, and everyone was assigned where to go. The deputy president was assigned to go to plant trees in Bomet. And then, as usual, he asked his office to call for the military chopper to take him to Bomet. And somebody from the military told the office of the deputy president that powers from above have said that from now on, politicians will not be allowed to use military choppers. That was a direct hit on the deputy president. And from there, that was all. Then he attempted, and I believe Honorable Gachagua...
There's such an announcement.
So it's all over. Even and Honorable Kagusha here knows, because this comes from quarters and from sources we know, then the deputy president attempted to look for a chopper, private chopper to hire and go there, because the military choppers could be busy. Then the people who leases choppers to government, it was announced that we have a new policy, that the charges for the chopper must be paid up front. And they said, what? When did you change this? And then, so the deputy president didn't go to Bomet to plant trees. Now, then he was to go to Mwea on Sunday. No, not Mwea, but Bere on Sunday. And then he was also denied the chopper. So he drove. And then you can see even the deputy president talking in Bere, that ASCK church, a bitter man. And this is where he announced about he said, I'm not only a supporter, but a proponent of the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote mantra. And when he left Bere, he went to his home in Madeira and he passed through Kirinyaga at Kagumo, where he stood up and re-emphasized that. And then when he reached at his home, he switched off the phone and he was incommunicado for the whole week. And he missed 11 functions, state functions. This is in the open, including the president trying to reach him to tell him, can you go look for the president, go to the airport and get the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni is coming. And the deputy president nowhere. So he reaches Musalia Mudavadi.
Mheshimiwa, how do you know this?
But look, Sam, yeah. I am a journalist myself. I have many things. Today, currently, I own a newspaper called the President's Digest, which is online. And so I get a lot of information. A lot of it, some of which are very sensitive.
So you're certain that President Ruto tried to reach DP Gachagua?
To go even get the Ugandan president at the airport. And he was nowhere. So, Musalia, can you go to the airport and get the president of Uganda to the country? And that time, you can't get Gachagua because he's incommunicado. And yesterday, actually, he said, I was using a Pro Box. He said that in Russia. I was here for a whole week and I was going incognito and using a Pro Box to visit various places. So we know there is a problem. If you look at the photos, which I have here, of last night, when the president was departing, yep. And I'm an analyst. When the president went to shake Gachagua's hand, they refused to look at each other's eyes. Gachagua looked this way, and it is here. It is there. And so this will tell you that there's a very big problem. Now let's go back about what. Let me. Sorry, you asked him a question about Nani, the governor.
I asked him, not you.
No, but he refused to answer you. He refused to answer you.
Don't worry.
But you are not giving me more time than them.
You're not giving more time than them.
No, equal time. Equal time, because I wanted to say this, what Honorable Gachagua said about the Lemuru 3. We are going to devolve the Lemuru 3. It will go to all places. Yeah. And we are going to take that message there. And finally, let me also say, and I have never met this young man from Kadiani. I was in Parliament with his former Member of Parliament, the General, who was a very good friend of mine, a good man. But I found him, a man who is really, pursuing matters and saying the way things are. And let me tell him, Mheshimiwa, one of the resolutions we made at Lemuru 3 was that Gema from now on is not going to be Gikoyo, Embu, and Meru Association. It's going to be Gikoyo, Embu, Meru, and Akamba. So we have assimilated Akamba community in Gema. And so in the next election, or from now on, in that meeting? We shall be doing things together, the Gema and Akamba. The A at the Mwisho, the Akamba. They are our brothers and our sisters. Okay. And
were they represented in that meeting?
No, that one was not a Gema meeting. This was now. It was a Gema meeting. The old Gema.
How can
let me answer your question.
Sorry, just hold on. How can you pass a resolution to assimilate, as you say, an entire community without them being represented in the meeting? Did they accept?
If you know, there was a meeting before where Kalonzo Musyoka, you'll be a witness, where Kalonzo Musyoka, the leader of the Akamba community, met with the Kikuyu Council of Elders, and he requested that the Akambas be assimilated in Gema. And the elders agreed, but told him, because we are having a meeting of the entire mountain, we shall go and announce that we have assimilated you. That was a resolution.
In that meeting with the Council of Elders of Gema, as you say,
yes.
Who was in the delegation of Kalonzo Musyoka?
No, you see, the matter must be brought to the Gema for it to be accepted.
That's what I'm asking. Who was in the delegation of Kalonzo Musyoka?
In that meeting?
He was requesting as who? With who?
He's the leader of the Akamba community. Is it so?
I was actually
alone.
there.
And he was there in that meeting.
There.
Is there a council of elders?
Yes, there's a council of elders of the Kambas.
Was it
they were
present?
all there.
They were all there, yes.
Okay.
And even our church leaders.
But let me finish this.
No, before we finish, there's something you've said that as the president was leaving, they could not look at each other. We have the footage. Let's test and see if what you're saying is accurate. Let's look at this. Let's look at this, and then you tell me what the problem is. Please look at the screen, Honorable Ndishu. Honorable Ndishu, look at the screen. So that's the president, of course, greeting a few leaders. And then you will tell me. There it is. Look at it, Honorable Ndishu. What is that?
It is looking their own direction.
But I think.
Ndishu, what is that?
No, you see,
Ndishu is looking for his photo.
No.
He has another one.
No.
I have also sent you one. You need to look at it.
Very friendly.
But you see, we know before how Gachagua and Ruto used to greet one another with a broad smile,
I like the way.
laugh, and so what. Look at it's
I
good.
like the way Ndishu is trying to dramatize this.
Not to dramatize, but we know, we know.
We know.
No,
Okay.
but look at it. Yeah.
Away from that. So, Honorable Kagushia, last I checked, you are very close to the deputy president.
I am.
Still are, right?
Yeah, I am.
So where has he been?
Let me first of all start with the...
Where has
Let me say this. You are the, he was a speaker. I am a speaker. And the rules of the speaker, whereby here in this meeting, you are the speaker.
All right.
So when you give somebody an opportunity, he only himself talks.
All right.
And he should not digress.
Thank you.
The speaker has asked you a question. Go to the question.
Ndishu has given a very illustrious and dramatic story
And
here,
I want you to answer.
which he want to fit into his narrative.
I want us to transition to the next topic. You're very close to the deputy president. You've admitted. Where has he been the past 1 week that you haven't seen him?
He has been using a pro box, as he said.
Not me who said. He said it himself.
No, I'm saying as the deputy president said. And of course, he said he had been using this to try and reconnect and connect with the people on the ground and try to see what is happening. In fact, he went ahead even to say about the things that he saw in various places in Nyeri County. And I like the dramatic way in which now someone here would want to put that he was using a pro box because he was denied something or a chopper by the government.
So you're saying he's been using pro box in Nyeri?
I'm just saying, he said, the deputy president did say that he had a good time.
I don't have a problem. I'm just asking whether that's what you're saying. So for how many days?
Sam.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do two things. Number one, as I explained where the deputy president was.
One of them is to confuse me.
One of the things is where the deputy president was. But I also want to refute completely and 100% the kind of dramatic and illustrious narrative that is being tried to create.
Why
that is being created by
you are the speaker. He is the speaker.
I mean, the deputy president said.
Yes.
And I don't know why I should explain what the deputy president did explain yesterday. He explained in details where he was. He said he was in Nyeri, and he said he had almost like a holiday to try and, reconnect with.
And it was too necessary to even miss a presidential summit?
I mean, Sam, the deputy president did explain where he was, and he explained to the whole country. Are you getting? So really, how am I as Kagusha now going to now say that it was necessary, it was not necessary, it was,
no, it's just a question because he was missing in those meetings.
11 of them.
He was missing.
Is it abnormal for someone to take a break?
Is it normal when a visiting head of state is in the country and the deputy president is not there?
I mean...
Has it happened? Have you seen
it? Or is it normal for a deputy president to meet 11 state functions?
Sorry, when a visiting president is at State House, have we seen the deputy president in office missing such a meeting?
You see, I don't think there's any rule anywhere or there is any law anywhere that requires that the president and the deputy do meet the heads of state together. In any case, the heads of state are usually visitors and guests to the president. And the deputy president, if in the city, can, or if available, can and may go and have them. But look, the deputy president did explain where he was. And with that explanation, you should be satisfied. The only thing I want to dispute is the fact that he was...
Is there a problem? Or, I mean, it's all rosy and as it should be.
No, I mean, from what we gather from the governor and from the people who may have talked yesterday, they said that there are things that need to be addressed, isn't it? Now, what I have said is that push and pull in political space is something that you expect at any time. And even the people in the opposition to have the same kind of push and pull. But I can tell you, and I want to repeat once again, the Mount Kenya region is in the government of William Samoei Ruto to stay. Are you getting? And should there be should there be any issues between the president and his deputy, are you getting? Should there be, then those issues will definitely have to be addressed. Are you getting? Okay. So that I mean, the government can be able to function properly.
I take it from you that you're not aware of any issues.
I mean, I listened to news as you did yesterday.
Okay.
We have had
You're not aware.
We have had a story that is being concocted. I get it.
And that's why you're here to set the record straight.
Yeah, and
but you're saying you're not aware of anything.
If you look at the photo I have sent you,
the
deputy president is looking straight on the eye of the president, and both of them are broadly smiling at each other. They are talking.
Really?
And really? I know. No, I have sent you that photo.
Okay,
Just look at it. Just look at it. You know, I had quite a number of photos myself also. But I know Ndishu is, even when we were seeing the one on the screen there, Ndishu is trying to seriously. He's busy looking for his own.
You see now,
which is falling into his narrative.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You're going to the picture that you sent to my WhatsApp. Unfortunately, you're talking about broadly
I'm just trying to dispute.
Just hold it. You're talking about broadly smiling. Yeah. We can have a debate about that because the home constituency, and there was a bit of noise coming from the region.